Okay, we're going to try to get through 8.8 group factoring. Hopefully everybody did a good job on 8.5 and understands simple trinomial factoring. If not, make sure you see me. We got a quiz on that. Looking like Monday right now. Monday, the first block day of our 3-block schedule weeks. Okay, so let's talk about 8.8 group factoring. This is actually the third take I'm going to do on this one. I have lost my smart board, so the handwriting can get a little sloppy, so make sure you're listening to me here, because I'm going to try to use my mouse, but I want to get this up so that everybody can see it. Okay, 8.8 group factoring. Okay, when factoring a polynomial with 4 terms, okay, very important right there. We're talking about 4 terms. We can, at times, use group factoring, okay? This is what it looks like. So I have a cubic, a squared, x, and then the constant. You're used to seeing it just with this. Remember 3 terms. Well, now we got a 4th term, all right? This method will only work if a over b, so the first 2 here, is equal to c over d, my coefficients of the last 2. All right, here's the steps. First step, you need to group the first 2 terms and group the second 2 terms. Then you factor out your greatest common factor. Okay? If, this is a big if, the remaining terms are the same, so 2x minus 3 and 2x minus 3, if these are the same, okay, that's what this is saying right here, then we can write it like this. Okay? And this is my answer. Alright, we can always check. Again, it says to see if any of them can be factored any further. Sometimes I'll do that, but right now, this is what you're going to be dealing with for the most part. Alright, so let's try a couple. Alright, so again, think about our steps. I have 4 terms. Okay, so let's group this first 2 and let's group the second 2. Okay, and this is a plus sign, so it doesn't affect us, but we always want to make sure this sign goes with this 15. Okay, if it's a negative, that's when we want to be careful. Okay, greatest common factor of the first term, excuse me, is 4r squared. So 28 has a common factor of 4, and r cubed and r squared. What do they have in common? It's r squared. What does that leave us with? Well, here we get 5r plus 2. Alright, over here, what's the greatest common factor between 15r and 6? Well, these have a common factor of 3, so I can take the 3 out of there. And r and no r, so I can't take any r out of there at all. What's left over? I have 5r, after I take the 3 out by dividing, plus 2. Okay, again, to check, these are the 2 things I want to be the same, and they are the same, which means now I can rewrite it for my final step as 4r squared plus 3. I got the plus because it is a positive 3. Okay, so that's where these 2 came from. Alright, and then finally, oops, get your parentheses around there. And then finally, 5r plus 2. Again, I apologize for the handwriting. I'm trying to do this without my smart board. I'm trying to get this video up for you guys. So there's my answer. And that's my final answer right there. And again, if I multiply these back together, I should end up right here. That's how we can check it. Okay? Number 2. Let's have you guys go ahead and try this one. Remember the first step, we got to group it. If we got 4 terms, we got to group it, greatest common factor, and then rewrite if what remains in parentheses are the same. Okay, let's try this out. This one here, again, I'm just going to group it real quick. We'll put that plus in with the 11. 7 and 14 have a common factor of 7, and x cubed and x squared have a common factor of x squared, which leaves me with x, okay, right here, and over here leaves me with 2, x minus 2. Alright, on to the next one. 11 and 22 have a common factor of 11, x and no x do not have a common factor, so it leaves me with x minus 2. Okay, so this is 7x squared plus 11 and times x minus 2. Okay, let's stop real quick for a second before we move on. If there are any questions that you have right now, I want you to write them down. Okay, once you write them down, I want you to ask me tomorrow, because undoubtedly there are 1 or 2 questions that people have on this and then they forget to ask me. So any questions you have over this process right now, write them down. Okay, and again, if we multiply this back together using either hashtag method, the table method, if you will, or binomial distribution, we should end up right back here. Alright, now we switched it up a little bit. The difference here is the minus. Okay, we got a minus for here. Our process is the same. We just got to be more careful. So parentheses around here, I'm really going to make sure I get that minus in there. Okay, and then greatest common factor. 12 and 16, I could take a 4 out of there. 8 to the 4th and a cubed, I could take a cubed out of there. So that's supposed to be a cubed. Okay? What am I left with? I'm left with a 3a. Okay? My a's are horrible with this mouse. Plus 4. Alright? What? Somebody's calling me right now. We're going to mute that just real quick. Okay. And then over here, I have a negative 5a that I'm going to take out. So negative 5a. And what am I left with? I'm left with a 3a. Oh, messed that up. Let me erase that real quick. Okay. I'm left with a 3a. God, my handwriting's getting worse. And over here, if I take a negative 5a out, I'm left with a 4, a positive 4. Alright, I knew to take the negative out because these were both negative, and I want them both to be positive. So that's how I knew to take that negative out of there. Alright, final answer, these two are the same. So 4a cubed minus 5a in parentheses and 3a plus 4. Okay? There's my final answer. And absolutely beautiful penmanship, I might add. Alright, give this one a shot. Press pause, give it a shot. Remember, keep that negative in there, but it's the same process as before. 4 terms, so I group them, factor out a greatest common factor from each, and then if I end up with the same thing inside the parentheses, rewrite. And that's my answer. Alright, so hopefully you at least got this far if you're working this out. Then over here, this one's kind of nice because there won't be a ton of writing for me because I just factor out an x squared, right? They don't have anything else in common. And that leaves me with x minus 6. That is a big subtraction sign. Over here, again, I noticed that I want a negative number for the second one, okay? And I want a positive number in front. So with this negative 9, I'm just going to factor out a negative of whatever I can. Well, 9 comes out of 54, so the greatest common factor is negative 9. Which leaves me with an x minus 6. Okay, again, these end up to be the same, so I'm left with x squared minus 9x minus 6. Okay? Any more factoring you can do out of this one? This is the first time where I run you into this. This one right here can be factored more. So it breaks down to x plus 3, x minus 3. Those are all parentheses. And x minus 6. So again, the idea, I multiply this together, I end up right here. I multiply these together, I end up right here. Okay? These are factors of this. Alright? Last one. Give it a try. Don't let the variables fool you. You know what it means. Just group them. Greatest common factor. Rewrite. Actually, I think we're going to do this one for our quiz. Yep, we're going to do this one for our quiz. So finish it off and then get ready to tell me the answer.